of ritualistic practices when games became wars and wars were played like games. A young boy was found in deep meditation in a quaint village in South India known as Ravishankar. He would say, "I have family everywhere. People are waiting for me." He astonished his teachers by reciting the Bhagavad Gita at a tender age of 4. With his education in Vedic literature and physics and his deep and profound knowledge of the spiritual world, he became one of the most prominent sages of the modern world. All through his life, he has been reviving ancient knowledge and creating tools and techniques that have benefited millions across the globe in living a deeper and a more joyous life. In 1981, the art of living was established by Gurudev Sri Sri Ravishankar. Nurtured by his care and contribution, the art of living has rapidly grown across 156 countries, reaching over 450 million people. One of Gurudev's most unique offerings to the world is the Sudarshan Kriya, a powerful breathing technique that facilitates physical, mental, emotional, and social well-being. He has designed 57 exclusive courses that empower individuals and cater to the needs of a wide spectrum of institutions in the society. Back then, Gurudev started the Art of Living service projects by taking responsibility of reviving a sinking school which had no funds. Today, his intention has manifested in over 702 free schools, which provides education and food to more than 80,000 children in rural and tribal parts of India. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the Art of Living Foundation pioneered the I Stand With Humanity initiative, providing more than 80 million meals to the daily wage earners in over 170 cities across India. The service initiative during the pandemic included the distribution of 6,000 tons of food to 5 million families. Gurudev launched the World Meditates campaign and also personally conducted online guided meditations twice daily, touching the lives of millions by bringing solace and keeping the hope alive. The Russian-Ukraine war created a surge of unrest around the world. In such regions of war, the Art of Living and IAHV shouldered the responsibility of housing the refugees and giving them hope.
A lot of noise and bombs, and we were very scary. In here, Art of Living helped me to find some place to sleep.
My son is very happy now here.
People here are very kind. They love us. It's our new home. It's really here.
Within 1 hour, 300 students they ate and 300 students they got the beddings to sleep.
The Art of Living, they are providing such a good food and accommodation. I really thank from my core of heart.
They are treating us like their own child.
Gurudev himself visited Poland in 2022, instilling the message of peace and love.
I stand for peace. We all, right? Let's all stand for peace.
From childhood, Gurudev had immense faith in the principle of non-violence. With escalating violence and conflict in the world, Gurudev has brought peace in situations where war seemed like the only solution. Thousands of militants and Naxalites laid down their weapons and chose meditation in the northeast and other parts of India. His efforts include bringing an end to a 52-year-old fierce conflict between the FARC and the Colombian government.
Ojalá podamos los colombianos abrazar pronto el principio gandiano de la no violencia. Coincidimos con el maestro Shankar.
Gurudev has visited Iraq several times and addressed peace conferences to bring respite to the nation and its citizens. Across the world, making him a global ambassador of peace.
We gather today in this wonderful occasion of tolerance, blessed by our Master of Love.
Gurudev strongly believes that behind every culprit, there is a victim crying for help. The Art of Living prison program is helping
to rehabilitate the prisoners. It has reached out to over 800,000 prisoners globally and has brought immense transformation in their lives.
To actually make this additional notes and share with you all, he is an internationally renowned peace ambassador and humanitarian leader. Gurudev is the founder of the Art of Living, and the Art of Living is an educational and humanitarian non-governmental organization that works in special consultative status with the Economic and Social Council, the ECOSOC of the United Nations. In a post-pandemic world, in a world full of insecurities, heightened volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, in these VUCA times, in such environment, ladies and gentlemen, let's warmly welcome the man, the legend, Gurudev Sri Sri Ravishankar.
Let's come together to celebrate and meditate, share ideas, special moments, music and dance, and to showcase the very best of ourselves with love. Love is peace, and peace brings about prosperity. Let's celebrate and meditate for peace and come together as one world family. Welcome to the Art of Living. Welcome to the Culture Festival. Welcome to Vibrant Africa, the rising rhythm.
Àwọn ìjòyè wọn ní kò sólọ́ba wọ́n ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹlẹ́yìn olórí ló ń rò fọ́ lọ́ba ń sanra. Ọ̀run òru ọ̀run òru ẹni lọ ló mọ̀. Ẹni bọ̀ ló mọ̀. Àwa ò gbé gbogbo àrí kò bínú. Ó ní kí wọ́n gbọ́ àdéhùn láàfin. Àwọn ìjòyè wọ́n ń tijú wọ́n wá rọ́bà wọ́n ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹlẹ́yìn olórí ló ń ròkà lọ́ba ń sanra. Ọ̀run òru ọ̀run òru ẹni lọ ló mọ̀. Ẹni bọ̀ ló mọ̀. Ọ̀run òru ọ̀run òru ẹni lọ ló mọ̀. Ẹni bọ̀ ló
life na YOLO. We don't come in pairs. Take it easy, now slow, slow. Just avoid the tears. I know you want to hustle, oh. You want to make money, to travel around the globe. I know you want all the titles, oh. Make the sky your home, become a rolling stone. So please, Mo, Mo, Mo. Mama any to show. Mo, Mo, Mo. Mama any to show. 'Cause when you feel like you've got it all, you don't heed the calls. Mama any to show. Just remember that this pride must come before that fall. Mama any to show. We all have our demons, we all have our flaws. But what is life without all these imperfections? Life is nothing at all. No, you wanna be a CEO, you want it badly, oh, but give a chance for growth. Malo conju, malo terisi, oh, he no go funny, oh, and this not true talk. Whoa, mo, 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 mama any to show. Mo, 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 monigo mo, mama any to show. When you feel like you've got it all, and you don't heed the calls, mama any to show. Just remember that this pride must come before that fall. Mama any to show. Ratio. Oh. And on that note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, leaders of the Business Roundtable and the movers and shakers of Nigeria's economy, welcome to the Building Emotional Resilience in These Hyper-VUCA Times Business Roundtable with Gurudev Sri Sri Ravishankar. A round of applause and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. The first two pieces of music that you've experienced this evening kind of set the tone. The first one, although satirical, is really talking about a king who is being spoken behind his back. Kabiesi, please forgive me, we're not referring to you, but your proverbial king who is oblivious of what's going on in his kingdom. People are talking, people are complaining, but it's quite the metaphor for the kind of society and the issues that we face in society with leadership, the challenges. It's not easy. As they say, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. That's what that song is talking about. The one that I've just performed is something that I call Mo. In Yoruba, translated to English, basically is reminding the lost and wandering soul who's looking for any way to make a way to survive in this world, to just remember his or her roots and remember the child of whom you are. A better name is worth much more than silver or gold. A round of applause for those. Yeah. I just want to quickly specially recognize we're all incredibly special people. That's why we are here for this special event. But I want to take some time, just a couple of moments, to welcome the Oneleki of Ibeju and the person of Oba Olumuyiwa Ogunbekun. Welcome, sir. Thank you for joining us. The chairman, African Industries, alongside the CEO, they are brothers. Please welcome Raj and Alok Gupta. They are here. I see my big egbon, Dr. Yemi Cardoso, chairman, Mr. Chairman, Citibank. Where are you, sir? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for coming. I wasn't sure what table you were on. Dr. Demola is here, Dr. Demola Shogunle from Stanbic IBTC, Mr. CEO. Just welcoming you, Our big sisters here, Bola Atta, Director Comms from UBA Group. Thank you for joining us. I saw you earlier, I just made a note. We do have here as well HR from UBA, Patricia at Derek Bigbe. Ma'am, thank you for joining us. Thank you. We said we have business leaders. We also have leaders in film, and there's none other when it comes to the most notable face in Nigerian film. Richard Mofe Damejo is here with us this evening. I think I saw Ms. Funke Okpeke from Main One earlier. She is here, a business leader in her very own right. Audrey Ezegbo and Professor Joe, I think they're both here, gas industry leaders as well. And I just did that to quickly show the diversity that we have in this room. And talking about diversity, that's really what Art of Living and Gurudev preaches as well. You know, the love, the diversity that we share, but the oneness that is the human race. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not qualified to introduce Gurudev to speak this evening. I'm still cutting my teeth. I have a long way to go, but there are people who are here this evening to do that job much better. He, as one of the founding professors at Lagos Business School, he is I stand corrected, Prof. Yes, thank you, because your face was like, I know you're only trying to be humble. He is one time, I think, or maybe two times now, he has run for presidential office before. He is an astute political economic analyst and a social commentator. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one, the only, the inimitable Professor Pat Utomi. Let's keep that applause going, please, until he gets up on stage.
Very distinguished leaders, I am honored this evening as we engage a matter of fundamental importance in how we shape our world. We are pleased to welcome to Nigeria a great ambassador of peace. Of course, without peace, prosperity would be impossible, as we see very clearly in some of our recent experiences on the continent of Africa. We have had years of what was called Afro-pessimism, and Afro-pessimism flowed out of the loss of peace in many countries. For many years, Gurudev has meditated Africa. I've been privileged to be part of I Meditate Africa. And the call is generally a call for a more peaceful world that draws from the wealth of the culture or cultures of Africa to provide an opportunity for great prosperity. A good part of this prosperity comes through enterprise. This is why we have the captains of industry here this evening. But to manage complex organizations require much more than smarts. Indeed, many times some of the smartest people manage very poorly. And so increasingly, we are inclined to looking at the emotional intelligence of people who offer leadership. And so, in today's world, we first talk about IQ. Or we've seen increasingly people move from talking about IQ to talking about EQ, emotional intelligence. And we see people who have moved even from talking about emotional intelligence now to cultural intelligence. There is no master of that I have read of as you find in the wisdom of Gurudev Sri Sri Ravishankar. It is a pleasure for business leaders to be here. And to listen out to words of wisdom about how we can make people collaborate and work together to create greater prosperity and truly change our world for good. I have had the privilege of spending many evenings in open skies in the ashram in Bangalore in India, listening to him share wisdom. I wish you a full taking of this wisdom today. Welcome, Gurudev.
Thank you very, very much, Professor Patu Tomi, former presidential candidate. This business roundtable is very, very specific. Today, it's all about bringing all of us together. I dare say that I'm a businessman as well, albeit in the creative industry. It's to bring us together, the key stakeholders of the Nigerian business community, to deliberate on building a stronger human capital. Focus on matters concerning organizational growth, community development, things of the such. And I'm very sure by the time we get to the Q&A session a bit later on, there are some unique issues and challenges and things that you might be battling with on a personal and on a corporate level. And we'll be able to hear some of those and, interestingly, hear what Gurudev's responses to those would be. To speak next, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome someone who's a firebrand, someone who does not mince words, someone who does not think about whose axe is gored, whose ox is gored. Ladies and gentlemen, he is someone who's advocated for justice, democracy, and human development from the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Sokoto. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the microphone Bishop Matthew Kuka. I think that round of applause can be much better. He looks a bit stunned, like, is he the one I'm introducing? You're welcome, Bishop. Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm in the business of speaking, trying to convert souls. So a microphone is not a new thing to me. But what is new is that I should come after Pat. And even more importantly, that I should be speaking in the middle of businessmen. I feel like the woman who showed up at a protest, and people were waving their placards, but she was sweating with enthusiasm. So the journalist walked up to her and said, "Madam, what is it about this protest that is making you so worked up?" And she said, "Well, actually, I don't know what they are protesting about, but whatever it is, I'm against it." I felt like saying, I'm not sure what this gathering is, but whatever it is, as long as it is for peace, I am for it. I really, if you live in our dear country, Nigeria, everything happens in a hurry. And I was talking to a friend of mine this morning, and I said it's very strange that people like Dare who are making tons of money, and Ali Baba and others, if you ask them, how is life? They say, we are hustling. And the word hustle has now fitted into the Nigerian vocabulary to the point that every person, including the very successful ones, are hustling. And I think that peace is a commodity that everybody seeks. Unfortunately, I don't think we spend much time thinking about the connection with the environment. And that if you live in this country, there are certain things that you just have to adjust to, because unfortunately for us, the ones that are not working, we tend to say, this is Nigeria. And because this is Nigeria, it's a shorter form of saying it means other rules don't apply. And this is why peace has become an extraordinarily scarce commodity in our society. Everybody on the street will tell you there's no peace in Nigeria because there's no justice. And if you ask who the agents are, people will point at those in power. And yet I think that what I almost anticipate we're going to be hearing is the fact that world peace cannot happen if nations are not in peace. And nations cannot be in peace if communities are not in peace. And communities cannot be in peace if families that make up communities are not in peace. And no family can be in peace until each and every individual of that family understands and is in peace. If we're a very religious nation, and Nigerians want to make religion almost an excuse for not taking their responsibility. So almost everything has been left for God. The only thing that has not been left to God to take care of is the corruption. But other forms of responsibilities have been outsourced to God. And we say the things we say precisely because by any stretch of the imagination, you don't have to be an economist to know that this country ought to and should have no business with poverty. But the situation we find ourselves in, Nigerians have so instrumentalized the condition that we have an expression for everything. And I think what we have gathered to do here is so important, because amidst all this confusion, amidst all the chaos, we are still witnessing extraordinary talent. And the challenge is our inability to hold this talent together. On the 31st of this month, I will be 70, and somebody very graciously made an offer. And we decided that we'll focus on just getting young people to compete among themselves in the area of ICT. And on the night of the 31st, we'll be giving out awards to young Nigerians, beginning from the age of 6, who have competed in designing all kinds of things using technology. I wish that peace could be designed, but there is a sense in which all of us, being agents of peace, can make that happen. So let me join my voice with the voices of millions of people who appreciate what you do and say that I have also, in my own little way, traveled around the world. And peace is not only possible because it is desirable. It is that with all our wealth, nothing can happen without peace. And peace has to connect with contentment. And I end with an anecdote. It's about a man who was sitting by the bar beach. And this white tourist walks across and sees him, and it's 9 o'clock in the morning. The man is sitting down with his legs crossed with a bottle of beer and a fish roasting. And the white man looks at him and says, "What are you doing?" He says, "No, I'm relaxing." He says, "It's just 9 o'clock in the morning. Why would you be relaxing?" He said, "Well, I'm just having a good time and at peace with myself. I'm relaxing." "What do you want me to do?" He said, "Look at the sea is wide open. People are making money. You can go catch fish." He says, okay, so I catch fish, and then what? You make a lot of money. Just makes sense. You make a lot of money. And the man says, gulps his beer, says, and then what? Well, you know, if you make good money, you have a good house. And he says, and then what? Well, when you grow old, you retire very comfortably. And you can have a wonderful life. So what am I doing now? You know, why are you putting me through all that? I'm already relaxed with myself. Why should I have to go through all this? So peace is not something anybody is going to give you. Peace is what is already in your heart. May God help you to light up that peace. Because as St. James said, if you read the book of St. James chapter 4, it's one of my favorite texts in the Bible. It says, where does all this confusion come from? He says the confusion comes from the fact that you want something so desperately and you cannot get it. So it is that desperation that has created the confusion that we are in. The world calls it the rat race. But I always encourage my friends, don't join the rat race, because even after you have won, you're still a rat. Thank you very much, and welcome to Nigeria.
Bishop Matthew Kuka, ladies and gentlemen. Bishop, you can tell from the applause that you are getting, sir, that we know, we agree, you are not shy of the microphone. You do this day in, day out. I did tell you he's a firebrand. It doesn't hold anything back. You know, doesn't mince words either. And he has said it all, really. We leave everything to God, but what? Corruption. Truth be told, you know, and pick out the points in what he said, even though he's laced it with a lot of comedy and some, you know, light-hearted banter. But, you know, let's not miss the points that he's delivered. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for Bishop Matthew Kuka. We have one more person to speak, and this person is going to be talking closely about what AOL, that's Art of Living, has done in the Middle East, specifically places like Syria. And he's from the Sana group. I'm going to welcome Allah. Mr. Allah. Here we go. A round of applause for him, please. I couldn't pronounce your son name. That's why I just stayed with Allah.
That's difficult Sunday, by the way.
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Unlike Bishop, I'm not from the business of talking, so forgive me if I was not as good as him in talking. So I will come and take lessons with you, Bishop, if you allow me. First of all, welcome to all of you. Welcome to Nigeria, to the lovely country, the country of colors, the country of love, the country of mixing culture. Welcome to all of you. Special welcome to Gurudev Sri Sri Ravishankar. You are welcome, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, I will first thank the Art of Living to give me the chance to speak today. I was not imagining that I will have this chance to come in person and thank Gurudev to what he has done in our country, what he has done in our area in the Middle East. They have done great things. What Art of Living have done in the Middle East? All of you knows what the Middle East passed through, especially Syria, Iraq, all this conflict happening in the last 10 years, and we are suffering of it. Art of Living was there. Their representatives were there. They were settling peace between people. They were settling conflicts. They are bringing people together. And this is not an easy mission. It is a mission impossible to go to the place where nobody is going, where people are running away, go there and start to put people together, bring them together, find the common things in between them, and settle peace. This is a great mission, which we appreciate, and we will remain appreciating forever. What is their tools in doing this? Their tools is their lives. And what drives them to do this is their passion, their beliefs, is unbreakable beliefs. They have unbreakable beliefs that we have to do it. We have to put those guys together. We have to settle the peace here. We have to spread love. It was a mission impossible, but they make it possible. So we remain thankful for this. Thank you, sir. And thanks for all what Art of Living giving to Middle East in this regards. Fights are everywhere in the world. We had enough in the Middle East. And I wish Nigeria will not experience this, and any other place too will not experience this. But always fight as we believe it is between two parties. There's another fight going on, and I will just take this chance to talk about a fight where it is from one side only. It is our fight against our planet. All of us are running business, but every day we wake up, we start the ignition of our car, we start the generator in our factory, we start our furnaces, our machines, our boilers. By doing this every day, without knowing what we are doing really or deeply what we are doing, we are killing the planet. We are killing our only home by spreading the CO2 in the air. So in Sana Group, as a committed group, we are running a program called We Green. And I will use this chance to get the blessing from Ravi Shankar, from Gurudev, to bless our program. And I will have just 2 minutes to talk about what We Green is about. All of us are producing something. Okay, either flour, either food, either steel, either concrete, from different business. Most of you are our clients and our friends. And all of us, we know that in our heart that we are doing this every day. When you are producing a ton of steel, that takes a certain amount of CO2 spread in the air. So We Green program is about planting trees to recover that CO2 we have spread in the air. How we can do that? There's a math, there's a calculation for every product produced, what it takes to produce it. It takes, for example, certain kgs or tons of CO2, and to recover that, we decide in Sana Group to be a green company by sending back to the air oxygen enough to recover whatever CO2 we have sent earlier by a calculation, by proper calculation, by proper maths, and by proper representation to the world. It is a mission, and that mission, I think all of us has to contribute in it. And it is not a foundation where people will give people money. It is a mission to give our grandkids and our kids a beautiful planet and a healthy planet. What we call all of you today, that by the end of this program, every one of you will receive a tree, a small tree. Please just find a place to plant this tree and encourage people to plant more and more trees and follow this method of thinking how we can give our people a clean and healthy planet. So today we are planting, I think we have 400 guests today. Today we are starting with 400 trees. And this is not a program running by one person or by a company, by my company or another company. When we are saying We Green, green is known. But who are we? We is everybody here. Is everybody in the earth, is each of your staff. So we seek your approval to join us in this program and to start from today thinking green and thinking how to leave more healthy planet for our kids so they feel happy and they can live to feel happy. Thanks a lot, Gurudev, Ravishankar, and thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you, Allah. A round of applause for Allah from Sana Group, Syria. Allah, you have a presentation. You have something to give Gurudev, I understand. So I'll ask you to, I know Shirag is helping, so he wants to present something to Gurudev.
Sir, as appreciation from the Middle East people, we just want to give you a humble gift, please.
You know that Gurudev is a superstar. He has not even spoken. He's already receiving gifts. So one more time for Allah of Sana Group.
Thanks. Actually, it is more like to document our thanking for the art of living. Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Pass me the mic also, please.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Well, Gurudev is upstanding, and I think you know what time it is. You know what that means.
There is something I'll share with you guys later. We spent some time earlier today with a few young people. We had a question and answer session called Ask Gurudev Anything. And he responded to those questions quite admirably, quite comfortably, and quite intelligibly as well. Plenty of experience, plenty of knowledge. And at the end of the session, a few of us gave him Nigerian names. I'm sure you're curious to find out what those names are, but I'll save it for later. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to warmly and humbly introduce, to give you his address. I do not feel worthy, but apparently they've empowered me to do this. Ladies and gentlemen, the Global Peace Ambassador himself, Gurudev Sri Sri Ravishankar.
Lovely, lovely. Good evening, everyone here. Your Excellencies and the business leaders of this continent. You know, I want to continue the story that Honorable Reverend Bishop had said. You know, like we blame everything on God and leave everything to God. So, you know what happened after that? God got so tired. Before there were less number of people, now 7 billion people complaining to him every day, praying to him. He wanted to take rest. Sunday was no rest for him. Sunday he had to overwork because he was being called everywhere. So God wanted to go and really take rest. He didn't know where to go. Because wherever he goes to moon, man will follow him there. He goes to Mars, man chases him to Mars also. He says, where to go? As one wise man said, whispered in God's ear something. You know what it was? He said, go in the heart of man. Man will go everywhere else, but never goes into his own heart. So since then, God is hiding in the heart of man. Man means woman also. You know, man and woman, God is hiding in their heart where people seldom go. Peace is where we are. Peace is our very nature. Every child that is born on this planet is born as a bundle of joy, isn't it? No child has come onto the planet as a criminal, as an angry person, as frustrated being. Every child has brought into the world just joy. Whether the parents were happy or not, but the child remains happy. When it gets its food, when it has had good sleep, it only expresses joy. So joy and peace are our very nature. You know, a baby smiles, you know how many times a day? Oxford professors have made a research and they said 400 times a baby smiles in one day. I don't know whether this calculation is correct. I would say there may be more. Maybe in Africa, a child may smile even more. 400 times a child smiles a day, and only 17 times an adolescent smiles. An adult doesn't smile at all. Not necessarily every day. But they see someone falling down, then they smile. Oh, you know, I told you this man will fall. Is losing joy and peace and smile and all that human values is what life is? We must ponder on this. You know? What do we want? If you ask anybody, what is that you want? Why are you doing what you are doing? The answer will be, I want to be happy. I want to be free. You know, the freedom and happiness is our very nature. Still, it is so elusive in the world. That too now, after pandemic, it has become an utopia even to talk about happiness. In society, what we find on one side is aggression. On the other side, depression. People are suffering depression and suicidal tendencies on one side, and extreme swinging on the other side. At the drop of the hat, people lose their temper and they start yelling, shouting, and they think this is being but macho. That's unfortunate. Don't you think so? Can we have a healthy state of mind where you have trust, you have compassion, you have sense of belongingness, and you have broad vision for oneself and the society as a whole? I would say yes, we can do that. Who is the culprit? Who has robbed us out of our smile? I would say it is stress. If you have observed yourself on Monday morning, how relaxed you are, how you take things, and on the Friday evening, you find a big difference yourself. You know, when you are stressed, a simple question from a child, you don't want to answer. Our communication breaks down when we are stressed. And neither at home nor in school, anybody is taught how to get rid of the stress. And this is where we need to do peace education. You know, countries around the world spend billions and trillions on weapons. I would say even if they spend 0.1% of the national resource in educating people on peace, on values of non-violence, the world would be a better place. Can't we teach more compassion, more values of non-violence? Can't we teach a sense of belongingness amidst people, belonging between people? I would say yes, we can do that. In fact, if you ask a kid in a school how many friends you have, a child will count on the fingers, says 3, 4, 5, 6. I have a question for them. If you could make only 5 friends over a period of maybe 2, 3, 4 years, in a school of 500 kids, how are you going to live on this planet with 7 billion people? And suddenly the boy starts thinking, oh yeah, I should make one new friend every day. I said, yes, that's what you need to do. So you just go and make a new friend in a classroom, in the school every day, you start nurturing that friendliness, the quality of friendliness in your own consciousness. It's just a matter of nurturing, you know. We have all been taught how to brush our teeth so that we can keep them all. No child wants to go and brush their teeth by itself. The mother will push them. Come on, brush your teeth. Until it becomes a habit, it gets inculcated in our life. We were given some hygiene lessons. In the same way, I would call this mental hygiene, where you are able to get rid of all the stress that you hold on, anger you hold on, hatred you hold on in your mind against anybody, to just drop them. The other day, a lady came to me and said, I'm so angry because my brother-in-law said this thing to me. I asked her, okay, before brother-in-law said something, did anyone else tell you something? Said, yeah, of course my sister-in-law did something. I was so mad at her and I was boiling with anger against her. I said, okay, even before that, was there anybody else? Can you remember? Oh yeah, my neighbor. He used to put all the garbage right in front of our house. I was so mad at her. I told her, my dear lady, you are punishing yourself for someone else's mistake. Anger is the punishment that you give to yourself because someone else does a mistake. Were you able to correct them by you being angry? I said, no. By communicating, you can correct a person. Just by being angry, you are punishing yourself. You are losing your sleep. You are losing your tranquility. You are losing your ability to communicate. But how to do it? Here is the secret. Our breath has the secret. If any one of you have been in the theatrical school, they would teach you how to breathe to express certain definite emotions. Our emotions are connected to our breath. Every rhythm of the breath is linked to certain emotions. So by manipulating or attending to the rhythms of the breath, we are able to change the moods of the mind and able to find inner peace. Once we find our inner peace, our intellect becomes sharper. I'm not saying anger is always bad. Anger is good, like a weapon, you can use it. Mother shows anger to the kids, otherwise no kid will follow any discipline. But mother does not boil with that anger. Her anger stays only for short period of time. And it's not that anger in which she completely loses herself. In the same way, you can show anger, but the anger should not eat you up. What do you say? Do you all agree with me? You can show anger as a rare weapon, as a rare technique. But if you keep using it very often, it stops working. It doesn't work. So in business, in management, I would say more smiles. Make your smile cheaper and anger expensive. In this, our anger also works and our smile also bonds the people. See, in your own business, how much you feel connected to every single person who is working for you, or how much they feel connected to the business. This is something that we need to work, because they don't think that this business is the giver of bread and butter to me, and I must be grateful for this company. This attitude seldom comes in people. Unless they are very conscious, this doesn't come. They use every employee sees it as a slot machine. Okay, you put some money, you get what you want. Take it out and you walk away. Then there is no personal connection. If there is no sense of belongingness, then productivity, sustainability, progress, all get affected. Do you all agree with me? People go like rolling stones. Here, I would suggest, as business leaders, in your business, you can introduce M&M. You know M&M? Have you heard about M&M? In America, you have this different M&M. Children, they go for it. No, here it's a different M&M. Meals and meditation together. If everyone sit together, 10, 15 minutes, they relax and meditate. And then they share a meal. They feel such a bonding amongst everyone. And they feel so committed to the company. So for this reason, we started programs call it TLEX, we call it Achieving Personal Excellence Program. Many companies around the world are greatly benefited, including the World Bank. So what they say that sense of belongingness to an institution is necessary. Similarly, a sense of belongingness to a family is essential. If all the members of the family have the same sense of belongingness, the family will flourish. If every member of a community have the same sense of belongingness, the community will flourish. Same with the nation. That commitment, caring, sharing, these are the qualities that we must have to bring up in people. That's all there. You just needs a little nurturing, little nourishment. And that's what the Art of Living has been doing around the world. And they put a sofa for me here. So shall we do a short meditation before I go on for question answers? Yeah. Now, meditation is not concentration. Many of us think meditation means focusing mind, making effort, this and that. No. If you think meditation is concentration, I would say no. It's simple technique of relaxation in which both body and mind gets deep rest. Scientists today have come up with more than 100 reasons why one should meditate and 100 benefits it's bringing up to our human physiology. So physically fit, mentally resilient, emotionally resilient, mentally sharp, and a general sense of happiness is what meditation brings to us. In short, I would say a violence-free society, disease-free body, stress-free mind, inhibition-free intellect. People have all type of prejudice in the mind. Prejudice-free, inhibition-free intellect, trauma-free memory, sorrow-free soul is the birthright of every individual. And that's what we must aim to bring to the society. I feel, we are all getting older. We are all moving towards the end of life. But we need to give a better world for the coming generation. Don't you think so? We need to leave behind a legacy of a beautiful world, a happy world, a violence-free world, disease-free world. And if all of us get together, make effort, we can do this. It's not impossible. We can make it possible. Yeah. Thank you. Now, let's do a short meditation, few minutes. You can all sit comfortably, easily. Can I have a stand here, please? Can you give me the mic?
If I could ask everyone to please make sure your phones are on silent, please.
Oh, yeah. Let's put the cell phones. This is part of the ritual, okay? Pressing the red button on your phone. It's already pressed. Let's sit comfortably, easily. And first, let us shake our hands. Just shake your hands and get rid of any restlessness, stress you might have in your hands. Just shaking your hands would help you to relax. Okay? And we'll stop shaking and sit with our spine erect and eyes closed. Become aware of your whole body, from head to toe and from toe to head. Remember your age, whatever that is, 40, 50, 60, 70. That many years ago, we came into this world. We came as just 5 kilos or 4 kilo weight. We weighed at that time just 4 kilos or 5 kilos. Now remember the weight of your body. It could be whatever that is, 70, 80, 90, 100 kilos. Now let's take a deep breath in. Hold the breath. And as you breathe out, place the weight of your body on the chair you are sitting. Let us honor our own body. Our body is the most precious gift to us from nature, from God. Our body has billions and trillions of cells. There is enormous activity all the time in the body. Relax your legs. Take your attention to your calf muscle. Feel the tissues, blood vessels, muscles, bones. Your thighs and hips. Relax them. Take your attention to your lower abdomen. Feel the tissues right there. And upper abdomen. Let's take our mind through our whole body. Let's scan our body, our chest, and the back, spinal cord, shoulders, arms, and your palms. Honor your own body. It is the most precious gift to you. Now let's take our attention to our throat and neck. Relax them. Face and head. Let's keep a smile on our face. When we smile, all the muscles in our face gets relaxation. They all get relaxed. So even if it's artificial, never mind. Keep a smile and relax. You may feel some fatigue coming up. That is good. It's only coming up to go away. Let's take another deep breath in and breathe out and let go. Let go of all the fatigue. Another deep breath in with a smile. Hold the breath and let go. Let's keep doing like this for next 5 deep breaths. Deep breath in, hold the breath and let go. Incoming breath energizes the body, while outgoing breath brings relaxation. Let us be familiar with this phenomenon which is happening all the time. It is the breath that is keeping us alive. Like fish in the water, we are in an ocean of air. Let us become aware of the air all around us and inside of us. Let's move on to the third dimension, the mind. Whatever thoughts are coming in the mind, just let them come. Good thoughts, bad thoughts, they all come and they go by themselves. Our body is like a wick of a candle. Mind is like the glow all around it. Become aware of your mind all around your body and inside the body. As far the mind is concerned, there is no inside or outside. It is just there. Become aware of the walls of this hall. There are walls to the left, right, front and back. Let's take our attention to the top of the head. Let's take another deep breath in and let go. Let us become aware of the empty space above your head. Keep your attention up to the space up to the ceiling of this auditorium. Let our mind occupy the space above our head up to the ceiling. Now let go all your efforts. This moment, there is nothing to do and nothing to know either. Just relax more and more. As the body relaxes, the mind expands. And as the mind expands, body finds relaxation. let it happen. Let go of all your efforts. Any tension you find anywhere in the body, just let it be. Embrace it. They'll dissolve by themselves. Just be and relax. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. You are peace. You are peace. You are peace. Slowly and gradually become aware of body and surroundings. And let's take another deep breath in with a smile. And breathe out. Another deep breath in. This time when you breathe out, you may open your eyes. Was it good? Yeah? You know how long you meditated? Huh? 20 minutes. Did you feel the time? How many of you didn't feel the time? 20 minutes. Can you put your hands up? See, this is just a little sample. Maybe for first time, some of you may still feel a little jittery. I would say, just take 2 days to do this couple of times. Then, you will find that enormous source of energy inside of you. You can just do away with 3-4 hours of sleep, still very fresh. You will get so much energy, so much enthusiasm, and intuitive ability. Businessman needs 2 things, innovation and intuition. Of course, you already have intelligence. But innovation and intuition can come up from somewhere deep within, and meditation helps to uncover that. If you see the world, many most successful business people, they've all been doing meditation. They've all done meditation, some or other form of meditation. Yeah? So, make it a part of your life. Yeah? I made number of guided meditation. The beginning for 2-3 months, you may need that help to external guidance. But afterwards, you may not. Anytime, anywhere you sit, you will be able to meditate on your own. So we have an app, Art of Living app is there, and there is one Sattva app. It will offer you many different type of, on your phone, on your cell phone. Yeah? Okay, now I'm open to questions. Yeah? Sure.
All right. How was that, folks? Please check on your neighbor. On a lighter note, for me, it was the fastest way to get to Canada. You know? I wasn't sleepy. I didn't feel tired. I didn't feel sleepy. I became one with myself a lot more. And I think this isn't, this is about really looking inwards, and finding that sweet place, and where you can think and your thoughts are quite clear. I quite enjoyed it, and it was an eye-opening for me. Please check on your neighbor. I'm not sure. Is everyone back with us? because you can really transcend your mind, and the spirit just travels, really far. Gurudev, do you remember one of the names, the Nigerian names they gave you earlier?
I would like to hear from you again.
I wrote some of them down, but if I may.
Abu something like that.
No, not Abu. Abu is. They told me to give you a Hausa name, but I didn't say Abu. The first one was Ade.
Adi.
Ade.
Ade.
No, Ade is, if I say how far, then you say Ade. Ade.
Ade. Am I saying it correct now? Ade.
You have to get it right. Good.
I'm close to it somewhere.
You are close.
Ade. Ade.
Ade. Ade.
Ade.
Do
Ade.
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 Ade. Yes. Yes.
Ade.
Ade is what Kabiyesi is putting on his head. Is a crown. In English, Ade means crown. That was the first name that they gave Gurudev. And of course, typical Nigeria, once they heard Yoruba name, the Igbo person in the building said, no, we have to give you an Igbo name. And I loved it. That's the beauty in our diversity. And the person named Gurudev Ugo. Ugo, yes, that's much easier. Ugo means eagle, correct? If anyone's in the building, just correct me if I'm wrong. So when they asked me to give Hausa name, even though I'm not Hausa, I came up with two. The first one was Musa. And no, not that Musa, not waiting Musa no go see for, no, not that Musa. This Musa, and apparently Musa actually means, it's Moses, it's like Moses, which in English roughly translates to saved from the water, kind of, but that's the name that came to my mind. And the second one was Khalid. And Khalid means eternal, everlasting, immortal. So those were the names that we came up with for Gurudev. A round of applause for Gurudev.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Gurudev, if I may ask you to, if you don't mind, standing.
Yeah, sure.
Very, very quickly, while we set up. We have a special guest with us this evening.
Bring more chairs.
Yes, they're just going to make a quick setup. This gentleman is someone I look up to, a huge mentor. He's known as the catalyst, but he's a specialist in, he's actually Africa's premier life, mind, and behavioral change catalyst. Ladies and gentlemen, he's a man who specializes in performance improvement, public speaking, and cultural transformation. You might already know who I'm talking about. And if you don't know, he's the Nigerian leader of the Beard Gang. I'm coming up, but Gurudev takes the cake, We want to have a beard like you, Gurudev.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, to have a quick conversation around the theme, building emotional intelligence, emotional resilience in these hyper-VUCA times. Please, let's welcome with a round of applause, Mr. Lanre Olusola. And I'll step aside for him to, he'll start with a few remarks and then go right into conversation with Gurudev. And I think this is one you don't want to miss. Please pay attention and enjoy.
Thank you very much. Lovely. Very nice.
Wow. How was that meditation session? How did you feel? Good? Let me just ask. Imagine if you did this for 30 minutes every day. How would that make you feel? Imagine if you and members of your family did it together every day. How would that make you feel? Imagine, as business leaders, if every morning, everyone in the organization came together to do this for 20, 30 minutes every day. What kind of organization would we birth? Imagine if our communities did this every day for 30 minutes. Imagine if our country, Nigeria, did this every day for 30 minutes. Imagine if every African did this every day for 30 minutes. Imagine if 7 1.5 billion people did this every day, what kind of world do you think we would have? We would have a world that is filled with peace, tranquility, and love. And that's why I'd like to invite each and every one of us to meditate every day. I remember a man that went to meet God and asked God, what is the secret to success? Guess what God told him? The Almighty God says to him to meditate day and night. And he told him that if you meditate day and night, you would have good success. Isn't that the reason why we are set up in business? To impact lives, to transform people's lives, and to have good success. Is that the reason why we're setting up businesses? How many people are setting up businesses to fail? Anyone here? No. We are all set up to succeed. Thank you very much, Gurudev. I count it an honor and a privilege to sit with you here. We live in a very volatile, unpredictable, complex, ambiguous, and disruptive world today. The World Health Organization says that depression is the world's second killer. And by 2030, depression will be the world's #1 killer. 1 in 4 people are depressed today. And 95% of all suicide cases is attached to depression. How can we, as human beings, how can we address that issue from an individual level? What would you say?
Absolutely true what you're saying. As we are talking, every 45 seconds, one person is taking their life away. Maybe you are even familiar with this fact that in this year, up till now, 400 physicians, the doctors are supposed to save our life, in America alone have taken their life away. And if the trend goes like this, it's a shame on humanity. So we must act. What we can do, we have to teach people how using their own breath, their own mind, their own relaxation technique, they can get rid of this anxiety, tension, and depression.
Wow. Can you put your hands together for that? So I'm in the space of psychodynamics, psychology, and coaching, and I do a lot of research. I found out that there's a certain gentleman that has done research for about 20 years, Greg Braden, and he says that for us to change a nation, all we need is a square root of 1% of the population of that nation to focus on nation building, to focus on peace, to focus on love, and to birth that vision. And we'll be able to change that nation. And so, based on that research, at that time, they went to Washington, D.C. to do a research. They say that Washington, D.C. used to be the crime capital of the world. And so, they took about 3,000 meditators to Washington, D.C., and they went to meet the head of police. And they said that we've come to experiment and to practice deep meditation, and we will do it for a couple of days. But for each of the days that we are meditating, the crime in Washington will reduce by 25%. Guess what the head of police said? He says the only thing that can make this happen is about 15 inches of snow. But guess what? These gentlemen and women started meditating. And for those number of days that they maintained the meditation, the crime in Washington, D.C. dropped by 25%. Wow. How can we? And, what are the simple steps? I know that, everybody experienced the meditation today. What are the basic simple steps for meditation, and why is it so powerful? Why is it so important? Because, we have a lot of business leaders here, and they are thinking, oh, yeah, meditation. I'll just sit down and I'll be breathing. I feel that we need to know exactly how important it is and what are the benefits to us.
There are 4 sources of energy. The first is food. If you don't believe food is the source of energy, just don't eat for a couple of days. You will realize yourself. Food is the first source of energy. Second is sleep. If you lose one night of sleep, you are not the same person the next morning. If you lose 2 nights of sleep, you can't communicate with that person on the 3rd day. You will not be normal. He will have no listening, correct? So these are the first 2 sources. The third source is breathing. You can be without food or sleep for 1 or 2 days, but without breath you can't, even for a minute. But we never pay attention to our breath. See, we use only 30% of our lung capacity, whereas 80-90% of the toxins of the body goes out through the breath. So breathing techniques make a big difference on your energy level. And the 4th source of energy is meditation, our happy mind. You might have noticed when you are happy, the days you are happy, you get more energy to do work than other times. When you think, oh, I have to do, then, it's a burden. When you feel burdened, you feel more tired. And meditation brings that energy from within. Adding to the research you have said about that, we have the same experience in New Delhi, when we had 3.75 million people assembled in New Delhi for World Culture Festival. The GDP of the city went by 45% in 4 days.
Wow. I think it's time to clap. The GDP went up by 45%
in 4 days. And then crime rate dropped down almost 80%. There's no crime in those days there. Wow. So we forget we are in a quantum mechanic world we live. We all emit vibrations. A vibration speaks more than our words. We communicate through our vibrations more than our words. And that is very important. Meditation cleanses our vibration, makes it more positive.
Wow. I think you need to put your hands together for that. So I want to speak on behalf of every business owner here. The reason why we're all working so hard is so that we can leave an inheritance for our children. Am I right? Am I right? Good. And today, research has shown us that our children are less emotionally resilient than us. Our children are incapable of dealing with a lot of the stress and challenges that they face today. And it is therefore very important that we nurture them into the new nature that they need to survive. And one of the critical elements that we need our children to have, one of the critical skills that we need our children to develop is the topic of today, emotional resilience. Now, the reason why suicide rate has gone up so high is because the rate and the quotient of emotional resilience has drastically dropped. Now, women are twice as likely to attempt suicide than men, but men are twice more successful than women. And the number one, actually, one of the top 3 causes of death in the youth is suicide. And that is simply because these children do not have emotional resilience. Of what importance is all our work? Of what benefit is all the money that will make? Of what importance will that inheritance be if our children do not live long? Gurudev, how do you advise that we help our children understand the importance of emotional resilience and how we can help them as parents develop their emotional resilience?
It's very important. Kids by nature are very adaptable. But the way we bring them up, we make them so rigid. And the rigidity does not allow them to be resilient. So from the childhood, we need to give them several exercises, several opportunity to express their softer side, softer skills, like compassion, helping, serving, instead of making them so self-centered all the time. See, when they're so self-centered, they become so rigid, and tomorrow they don't even respect the elders. They say bye to the elders very soon, very early in their age. And then I see people so miserable. I would like to share with you, when in my last trip to South Africa, the organizers there asked me, can they bring people from the old age home? And so they brought about 8 buses full of old age people, and they wanted to. And you can see from each of their face, it was misery was just dropping. I mean, they were so miserable and so sad. It was such a sad thing to see them all in their old age being so sad, because they are not very poor people either. They are from the wealthy families. And the children no longer care for them. They have no emotional link to them. They just send Father's Day card, Mother's Day card to them, and that's it. Because that culture of respecting human being and understanding one's own emotions and knowing that you are much bigger than emotions, having a foothold on your wisdom, on your intellect, then emotions can make your life better. If you make your life, your emotions run your life, you are moving towards ruin. But if you are guided by your sharp intellect, at the same time nurture emotion, then you have won the game.
Wow. And we put our hands together. And this is so important. I want to draw another, I want to make another point with our children. These days we overcompensate for absenteeism as parents. And so we give them the latest iPhone. We give them the iPads. We give them all of these devices that stop them from connecting with each other, that stop us from connecting with them. And so we are so detached, and they are so detached from human connection, from that expression of emotion, that interaction, that engagement between human beings. And it is very, very important, right, that we begin to pull back. We begin to, pull our children back from getting lost into these devices. These devices are some of the reasons why our children are detached. They are not allowing themselves to feel the emotions that will help them thrive, the connection that help them build emotional resilience. And so it is important for us to allocate time for them. The people that build these devices, they don't allow their children to spend as much time.
Yes.
Research has actually proven that they do not allow their children to spend as much time on these devices except to do their homework. So as parents, it is important for us to begin to place embargoes on these devices.
I totally agree on that count, yes. We need to give real time to a family, children. Inculcate in them values. Values like compassion, consideration, respect for life, And fortunately, the young generation are not so consumeristic in nature. They have bigger vision today. I've seen young people around the world, they are not as greedy as a previous generation used to be. They are thinking bigger terms of sustainability, of environment, about, many big social causes. That's one good thing I see. At the same time, there are a lot of young people who are lost and who don't know what to do. They feel directionless and they end up being very, very angry. As a previous speaker has said, they're doing protests. They don't know why they are protesting, but they just want to protest. That type of protest has become a way of letting out their frustration rather than using it as a cause, as for some cause. So this is where I think elders here need to really pay attention to youngsters, give them seminars, make them understand their own emotions. See, neither in school nor at home, anyone teaches us how to handle our emotions. You feel angry, you don't know how to get out of it. And then you stay with it for days together. Sometimes it will go down, otherwise it keeps multiplying. Same way, jealousy or any other negative emotions, they are not taught how to handle them. And if emotional intelligence is not there, it affects their intellectual abilities too. Then they see everything with a colored glass. Their perception is blurred, their observation is blurred, their expression taken for a ride. So I would say 3 C's we must pay attention to. One is context to life. Have we given bigger context to life? What is the purpose of wealth? Is the purpose of wealth only wealth? Or purpose of wealth is well-being? And how long are we going to be on the planet? This context of life must be given to them. Who are you? What are you? Where are you? What do you want to do? How long you will be on the planet? And how do you want to spend your life? How do you want to plan your time on the planet? So context, first C. Second is commitment. How much are you committed? Or how soon are you dropping your commitment? This is another issue. People take up many commitments. A small obstacle comes and they just drop the commitment, they run away. So, commitment, second C. Third is compassion. How compassionate are you? Towards yourself and others. Both. So, compassion, commitment, and context to life. The C3s can bring a huge change in the younger generation.
Wow, awesome. So before we come to Q&A, I've done this for about 20 years. I know you've done for much longer. I've come to agree, based on research, that we're all looking for the same thing. Ultimately, we're all looking for fulfillment. We're all looking for satisfaction. We're all looking for peace, happiness, and joy. So with all the money that we are striving to make, we are working towards those things. Why do we marry? Why do we have children? Why do we do the things that we do? It is simply because ultimately we are seeking for fulfillment, satisfaction, joy, happiness, peace. Now, one of the ones that we truly, truly desire the most is happiness. And happiness is not what many of us think that happiness is. A lot of us think that if we go to the east, we will find it. So we pursue happiness towards the east. But happiness does not come from the east. It does not come from the west. It does not come from the north. Neither does it come from the south. Happiness is not in anyone or in anything. I want Gurudev to talk to us about happiness. A lot of people postpone their happiness. A lot of people think that, their happiness is hinged in people or what they can acquire and the possessions that they can amass. What is happiness?
Well, it's very difficult to define happiness. And I feel there is no need to define because everybody knows what it is. Happiness has not touched anyone, has not left anyone untouched. As a child, we were happy. When as a kid, when you used to get gifts on your birthday, you were happy. Someone praises you and you are happy. Right? So this is the way we have grown in our life. Our needs are fulfilled, our desires are fulfilled, and we are happy. That makes us happy. Correct?
Yeah.
So the infant happiness is in getting. But there is a mature happiness, a greater happiness that comes to you when you contribute, when you give. Like, for example, your grandmother at home. And you visit grandmother on a Thanksgiving, on Christmas, and then she makes 5, 7, 8 dishes, and her joy is in serving. When she sees the children and grandchildren are having great time, and she feels such happiness within herself. So the happiness of grandfather or grandmother is in giving, is in sharing. That's a mature happiness. So though in life we all have got up with this, happiness is in getting. When we start giving back to society, that gives us the true happiness, real happiness. And combined with this, what really helps us to sustain it within us is again meditation.
Wow.
That keeps you so centered, and the positive energy that arises within you can keep your smile undisturbed by anybody, anything in the world.
And that is so true. That is so true. That is so true. If you haven't watched this documentary, I would really advise that we all watch it. If we have watched it, it would be nice for us to go and watch it again. How many people have seen the documentary, The Men That Built America? The Men That Built America. How many people have seen it? Wow, we need to go watch it. Now, John D. Rockefeller, Henry Ford, J.P. Morgan, Cornelius Vanderbilt, these gentlemen, they gave everything to get. And they became the wealthiest men, and they still are, if you calculate how much wealth they have. They still are the wealthiest men in the world. But they never found happiness. Well, guess what they did? At the end of their lives, they started giving. And they started competing, not to get. They started competing to outgive each other. And that's when they found the most fulfillment. Wow. So the challenge to each and every one of us today is that from what we have heard today, it is important for us to begin to challenge ourselves, to begin to live differently. And for us to live differently, we have to think differently.
So ladies and gentlemen, I think a bigger round of applause for Lanre, Olusola and Gurudev one more time. Insightful, a lot of nuggets that they shared there. And I'm sure you have questions, so this is how we'll run this. On either side of the hall, we have usherettes, ladies dressed. Raise your hands just so that we know who you are, okay? On either side, there's a microphone. Once you signify that you have a question, when the microphone comes to you, we'll try to make this quick, short, because after this, we'll have dinner for everyone. One or two people have had to leave, obviously, maybe because of time constraints. But if you have your question and the microphone comes to you, please let us know your name. That's very important. Let's know your name. If you wish, you can let us know where you work. Since this is a business roundtable, market, sell yourself, sell your market. Won't be bad. And then go right into your question. Try to keep your question short, all right, so that we can accommodate more people. So we'll have responses, direct responses for each question, and we'll also make the responses quick as well, so that we can wrap this up very nicely. All right, so do we have a question, anyone? All right, so we have a gentleman right there, first. And you could just give us some light music in between the pauses, okay? Go ahead, sir.
Jai Gurudev.
It's on, it's on, it's on.
Jai Gurudev.
Yes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chief Dr. Grover. And I just love this theme, how to build emotional resilience. This is really need of the hour. We all know that in Nigeria, majority of the people who live here, we are highly resilient. And due to the uncertainties in social and economic circumstances, we all have significant challenges. And that's where the stress comes in. So my question to you, Gurudev, is, in our professional lives and personal lives, please guide us how to generate and how to maintain this emotional resilience. Is there any systematic approach by art of living which we can practice in our lives to build up this emotional resilience in our organizations as well as family lives to improve our happiness quotient? Thank you.
I think this is exactly what I've been talking earlier also, that it's not just giving sermons to people, that's not enough. Tell them, oh, everything will be okay, it's not enough. You need tools and techniques for one to manage their own emotions and mind. That is the secret with the breath and meditation. Few minutes of meditation and breathing technique can help you immensely than listening to hours of talks or sermons. So that is why the techniques will definitely help. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the response is quite succinct, straight to the point. Breathing, the breathing technique, and also meditation, all right? Those two things. And I think with Art of Living, having some sessions there.
Okay.
All right, gotcha.
Yeah. Thank you. My name is Bola Tito Ajibode. I work for Lekki Free Trade Zone. Thank you very much. We've learned so much from you today, and we'll continue to log on to your platform to get more from you. My question is, maybe I would not say it's a question. I would like you to share your perspective on the Latin adage that says, if you want to prepare for, or if you want peace, prepare for war. This adage has been taken for me too far by nations acquiring ammunitions just to protect their borders, spending billions of dollars acquiring ammunitions compared to what that kind of fund can deliver when you look at from the peace perspective. So this adage, for me, has been taken too far, even to families, to individuals. We are all, out to defend ourselves, acquire wealth, looking for what is not available, looking for ammunitions in different perspectives, as you may want to define what you define as ammunitions. So I would like you to share your perspective on this Latin adage that for me has been taken too far. Thank you.
The war for me is worst act of reason. WAR. People think that war is the only way because their mind is clouded. They have a perceived threat from the others. The communication has broken down. So, unselfish interest, they put their interest above the interest of humanity, then such people go for war. Here, what is needed is people with more sane, with a sense of equanimity, people who have sense of belongingness to everybody, patch them up, do proper mediation, and see how this war could be annihilated. You know, the confidence could be built on both sides. But having said this, it's not an easy thing to do. You know, in the present crisis, what we are facing, it's a very big players there with their own interests. What we can do as human beings, you know, we can at least keep our spirit high, not get sucked into this hopeless state that you may be getting into if you don't know what is going to happen. And then, you know, you feel completely lost and hopeless. At least keep your spirits high in the time of crisis. So, knowing that, you know, any of this crisis will not last forever. The war will end one day and the world will come back to normalcy. This confidence, this self-assurance, we all must give it to ourselves. That's the only way we can save our minds.
If I just quickly add to what Gurudev has said, evidence terminates argument. And I've come to terms with the fact that where your focus is, your energy goes. And so when we focus on what we don't want, the subconscious mind that executes it cannot take negative instructions. It deletes one of the negative words within the statement that we make. So when you say, I don't want war, what the subconscious mind does, it cannot take that instruction. It does not hear the don't. So when you make a statement or you think a thought, I don't want war, what happens is it deletes the don't, and then it gives you the rest. If you say, I don't want to be sick, it deletes the don't, and then it processes the rest. If you say, I don't want to be weak, it deletes the don't and gives you the rest. Let me just use this exercise to practice this. I want everyone to focus on this phone. Can everybody just focus on this phone? Okay. I don't want you to think about this phone. I don't want you to think about this phone. Don't think about this phone. I don't want you to think about this phone. What are you thinking about? The phone.
You end up thinking about it.
Yes. So think about this microphone instead of this phone. Think about this microphone instead of this phone. Think about the microphone in my right hand instead of this phone. Think about the microphone. What are you thinking about? The microphone. So if we want peace, what we've got to do is we've got to start thinking and focusing on peace rather than on the war that we do not want. Because our subconscious mind that executes 95% of all instructions that we send to it does not process negative instructions. Thank you.
Nice one, Kopi. That's a brilliant way to reaffirm that. Bola, I hope you're quite happy, because I like particularly the question. It's so relevant. You know, it's literally sacrificing peace on the altar of capitalism, more or less, because
what are we, of what use is it? Yes, Gurudev has said, it's disagreements, it's from the conflict. But I'm quite interested, Gurudev. I know that you did some extensive work in Colombia with the FARC, the rebels, and, there were warring factions. Just very briefly, if you haven't mentioned it, in your response to her, what was the key thing that you, yes, in that instance?
Yes. I got this award from the Colombian government for working. My volunteers were working there with the internally displaced people and the victims of FARC's violence. So the government gave me their highest civilian award. After the award, there was a formal handshake with the president, which was supposed to last for 5 minutes. But then that meeting lasted for about 55 minutes. So during that meeting, President Santosh expressed his pain that he has left with no other option than going the military way, because the FARCs are not ready to listen to anything. They're not listen to any sense. And so, but his worry was 40,000 lives will be lost if we do the military operation, which he had, America had agreed, Europe had agreed, so he is left with no option. That's what he expressed to me. I told him, Mr. President, why not I try? He said, yeah, any help is welcome, but I don't have any much hope in it, he said. I said, never mind, let me give a try. So I flew from Colombia to Cuba, Havana, where these rebels were there. There were 14 commandos. When I landed there, in the beginning they said, no, we don't want to meet anyone spiritual. Because they said, our Bible is Karl Marx, was the book of Karl Marx, that is our Bible. And Karl Marx, we only followed that. So we don't want to meet. But that evening I had a meditation program and a talk in the University of Havana. And so these people sent some feelers to go and find out what I'm speaking, to test me out. They went and gave him a good report, perhaps. Then they agreed to come to my hotel to talk to me, 14 of them. Their intention was to convince me to tell the Colombian government to stop the atrocity against them. To make the story short, so I spoke to them on the first day, then second day, third day. We meditated each day. By the third day, they came on their own to the press conference and they announced unilateral ceasefire. I told them, you have tried violence as a method for 57 years. Why don't you try the method of non-violence also? Gandhian principle of non-violence. Why don't you do this? Nelson Mandela has tried it. India has tried and have been very successful. Why don't you try it? After meditation, something struck them. They all became like children, later on. Please don't forget us. I told them, look, you come and form a party and come on the democratic line, So they agreed, and within 1 year they formed a party of their own. They agreed for the peace treaty, and there that whole thing of war and bloodshed ended. If you have visited before 15, what Colombia was and what you see today, sea of difference that shows how peace can bring huge prosperity to any country.
Peace is the major recipe for prosperity, and I hope that Nigeria is able to toe, that line with the amount of insecurity that we're facing. Sir.
Good evening, everyone, and Hari Om Gurudev. Thank you. That was a beautiful group meditation, which was very powerful. My name is Naresh Asnani. I'm a daily meditator, and I know how it serves me. But I've been trying to convince my children who are in their early 20s to try meditation, and they're very, very skeptical. They're like, it's not for us, Dad. It's your thing. So if you have any suggestions and ideas on how to get skeptics and non-believers to try meditation, I would love to hear your view.
You mean to say how non-believers can do meditation? Is that what?
How skeptics of meditation, they're like, I don't think meditation is for me. How to convince them to try it?
Okay. You know, skepticism is good. People who are skeptic can get very good experience. But if you're cynical, then it is difficult. Cynical mind shuts off, but skeptical mind is still okay. You know, I would say for this you don't need to be a believer. However you are, whoever you are, you can definitely do meditation, number one. You know, I wanted to really, when I heard about the Boko Haram here in this country, I wanted to approach them. I want to stretch my hand and talk to them, find out, you know, and communicate with them. You know, simple communication can create a difference. I have seen this happening many, many cases. People whom we condemn as the rude and rough and hopeless people, I see they have a victim inside of them. If you heal the victim, the culprit disappears. If you bring out the goodness in them, the bad guy that we see in them simply doesn't exist anymore.
All right. Okay, we have one on this side. Oh, Louisa. If contentment is contentment the solution?
Contentment the answer to happiness, to a higher being?
Is contentment what?
The answer.
Is contentment the answer to...
And if so, how do we achieve it?
Right.
Well, when you are hungry, you have food. After food, you feel content, right? When you have a good night's sleep, when you wake up in the morning, you feel content, right? So when you see life from a broader perspective and see with a different context, contentment arises in you. That doesn't mean, content doesn't mean, oh, you should be sort of laid back, no enthusiasm, no interest in anything or no dynamism. Often people think contentment is opposed to dynamism. I don't think so. When you are more content, then your intellect works sharp. Then you can be more dynamic. It's just a habit. You have to cultivate that habit of being content. Otherwise, you know, the opposite of that is getting frustrated. You can get frustrated at all time, for any time. That doesn't lead you anywhere. Yeah.
So just to add quickly to what Gurudev has said, another thing that you can do is to recognize that you are on this earth for a reason and for a purpose, and to discover that purpose and to fulfill that purpose. When you know why you are here, and you know who you are, and you know the problem you're here to solve, and you dedicate your life to it, you commit your life to it, and you stay consistent and focus on your own lane, focus on your own life, consistently add value to humanity, consistently give of your gifts, your talent, and your abilities. Contentment will be one of the greatest rewards that you will find from that endeavor.
Thank you. Thank you, Lanre. Thank you. We have a question. The gentleman in the waistcoat.
Thank you very much. My name is Abraham Ologundudu. I'm a visual designer and founder of Social Good Lagos. I want to ask a question from the young people perspective. So I've been doing advocacy and social change projects for 10 years plus. Started from as a teenager, and I'm going to look into environmental peace, precisely climate change. From your experience, Gurudev, engaging with stakeholders on high-level leaders on the importance of peace, what do you say young people can communicate the need for world leaders to improve or change their approach to business and the way we do things, especially in terms of climate change, without coming off as chaotic, aggressive, and rude? Yeah, that's my question.
So your question, just to recap, I think it's the way older people see younger people, especially in Nigeria. They see us as troublesome, rude. Huh? No, that's the way answers. That's how they don't believe in.
So why are you including yourself?
Why am I including myself? Young man like me. Please, I can bring out my birth certificate. So Gurudev, what he's trying to say is, how can the young people be taken more seriously in a way, right? Because the older people think that the young people come off as rude and aggressive, and all we are trying to do, again, we young people, we know ourselves, what we are trying to do is proffer a solution. It might be in the communication, it might be the difference in eras and age, but have I summarized your, yeah, that's...
This issue of generation gap is there all over the world. It's not just here in Nigeria, it's in India, it's in America, it's in South America, it's in China, everywhere in the world. Now, having said this, I would say young people are accused of being very aggressive and rude and ruthless, whereas I would say young people are very dynamic, intelligent, and they're looking forward. They want to do things quickly, and they don't have the patience of the past generation. So they want to achieve things, and they want to do it quickly. They know the value of time. They can't wait too long. This is one thing that would help to bridge the generation gap. Again, I would say, come back to the thing, meditation. When you meditate, you know how to communicate with the other person. When you meditate, you know how to be firm on your stance, at the same time being friendly with the other different generations, your elders or younger generation. Aggressiveness is not always right, and dynamism is not always aggressive. This we must convey. This we can do only through our communication skills. And that's what we need to develop. If younger generation has, with all the energy, little more patience and inner peace, I tell you, sky is the limit for you. You can really achieve, you can really bridge the gap that you seem to be facing, and create an environment of tremendous growth for yourself and the society.
So we have, okay, but don't be a coconut head. So you have to be open and, communication is key.
Puji Gurudev. My name is Manish. The question I wanted to ask is, yesterday I remember in the evening, this girl asked a beautiful question to you, and the question was about career choices, and then you also talked about two important decisions any young person has to face, which is career and relationship. And unfortunately, I think we were not able to complete the answer that day because something happened. But I would love you to please comment on, how do you advise a young person on their choices of career and relationships, the two most important decisions they'll face. Thank you, Gurudev.
Career, they should choose with their head. Emotions, life partner, they should choose with their heart. Don't mix them up. Don't do business with your heart and choose your partner with your head. You will be into disaster. You know, your head always wants something new, and your heart always longs for something old. You take pride in the latest computer and an old friend, not the other way around. You don't take pride in old computer and a new friend.
And don't be a coconut head. Use your head for business and use your heart for your relationship. Don't mix the two, water and oil. Sir, with the Onile Gogoro cap, sir.
Thank you very much. My name is Femi Onodili. I'm a legal practitioner. Some moments ago, you touched on a point that I really wanted to know about. I'm giving your credentials. I mean, you are a known peace ambassador. Now, you touched on the point that you wanted to talk to Boko Haram. Now, what made you not to talk to them? Is it that some powerful people frustrated that? Because right now, the state of insecurity in this nation is affecting everybody here, seated here. No doubt about that. To even fly is difficult. To go by road is difficult. So many issues. So I don't know what you have done in other countries, whether you can do it here. Because another problem I see now is that banditry has become the most lucrative business in the country as of today, whether you can do something about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Femi. That will be our last question, and I think it's a great question. Gurudev, I hope you caught everything
You can summarize
clearly.
the question.
Just to summarize, it was in line with a little bit of the Boko Haram comment that you had made, your efforts in reaching out to them, your desire. What Mr. Femi is asking is, practically and realistically, what is it that you've tried and the authorities have, told you to calm down, or what are the things that you are trying to do or will do, hopefully on this trip, because this insecurity issue is rather immediate. There's no solution in sight.
Yes, I usually don't go through governments. I go through people like you and the common people who are in connection with all those people. I'm still looking for a good connection. And if anyone has any connection to any of those areas and people, you are most welcome, and I would like to meet with them, no doubt. Of course. No, when it goes through government, it doesn't give the same, it doesn't build the same trust. But I don't mind, even if government is ready to connect me to them, I am ready to do that also. And as far as the insecurity is concerned, I would like to mention to you, this is a common phenomenon. If you see today in America, people are so insecure to send their kids to school. There were 300 mass shooting cases in the first 6 months of this year. People are scared to go to supermarkets. People are scared to stop their vehicle in gas stations. And if you think the most safe and most democratic country on the world, if America people are feeling so insecure, I am not surprised that people feel insecure elsewhere. But as we already discussed about, where you put your attention. If you keep putting your attention on insecurity, that grows. But if you turn it around and say, okay, even in this difficult time, I'm going to put my attention on the positive side, you will see, for your own surprise, you will see positivity will grow, because your subconsciousness attracts only that type of thing which you feed in. Our mind is a supercomputer, I tell you. Yeah? Okay? Thank you.
Mr.
One
Femi,
last question. One last question.
Okay, Gurudev says one last question. Mr. Femi, I think we will lead with you. I know that the BBC does also have 1 or 2 contacts. If we really want to take this serious and find a practical solution I think it's something that we can, galvanize and think about the solution rather than think about the problem. One last question. I'll yield to the lady in green. Last question for tonight.
Thank you very much for this awesome evening. It's been so educational. For me, I would say what I've gathered today is to say that meditation is the answer to almost everything. And my question is, in the area of abundance, because I was speaking to a friend just this morning, so it's so coincidental that I'm in a session where we meditated today, and I'm so appreciative of this evening's meditation. So she told me, she just in the passing, she said, in fact, even if you want abundance, you just have to meditate. So I'm like, what has meditation got to do with abundance and wealth? So I want to ask, what's the correlation between meditation, success in career, which we have already mentioned this evening. So what's the correlation between meditation and abundance? Thank you very much.
Was the connection between meditation and abundance. Abundance is a state of mind. When you feel abundant, then you feel abundant. Otherwise, even having $1 billion in your account, you still feel lack, then that is not abundance, It's how you see your life, right? Now, having said this, I would say meditation does not stop you from progressing. It doesn't make you complacent. It only brings you more sense and more focus and more compassion in life. So you need to be compassionate to yourself too. Half the health we spend to gain the wealth, and then we spend half of the wealth to regain the health back. This is not good economics in life. So maintaining robust health, both physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, at the same time progressing in towards your goal you set for yourself, can all be achieved with the balance of body, mind, and these techniques that you use to develop yourself. Yeah?
All right. Well, we told you that he had a wealth of experience. He's speaking from the fact that he's been to these places, he's been in these situations and scenarios, so it comes from experience. Ladies and gentlemen, for Lanre Olusola and Gurudev Sri Sri Ravishankar, let's put our hands together and appreciate the efforts, the words spoken. We still have a live performance tonight. We have healthy dinner for all of you, but as Gurudev bids us farewell for tonight, be here on Sunday for the Culture Festival. Gurudev will be with us. So ladies and gentlemen, one more time, let's hear it for Gurudev Sri Sri Ravishankar. And before Gurudev leaves, we'd like to implore him to take a big picture with us on stage. Akshay, if it's possible, just a group picture, please, Gurudev, before you leave. And I think, Prof, if you can join us, Prof. Mr. Lanre Olusola. I'd like to call on RMD as well, and then Bishop Kuka to join us. Just one big happy family picture. And Kabiesi as well, please. The Onileki of Ibejuleki. The Onileki of Lekki, I stand corrected. All right. And Allah from Sana Group in Syria. Gurudev has asked Onileki of Lekki to come over to the left side. I think it's because of his crown. It evens out the picture. All right. I think our photographers will be very happy to get this picture. I'd like to especially thank each and every one of you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, for making time to attend this evening. And I'll call on Mr. Dave to give us the vote of thanks as we move right into dinner. Mr. Dave Variani, Chairman Vista Group. And Vista Group is the trustee of Art of Living Nigeria. Mr. Dave Variani for a vote of thanks. We do have a live music performance just as we begin dinner. Mr. Dave. Can we quiet down a little bit, ladies and gentlemen, for the votes of thanks?
Good evening, everybody. To the amazing Global Ambassador, Gurudev Sri Sri, whom I would like to thank with an insane amount of appreciation. Personally, to me, he's like the ultimate oracle with a heart as wide as the world. We've embarked on a 4-country visit to Africa, and I had my wildest dreams come alive when I had the gigantic blessing and fortune of him inaugurating my university in Ghana called Academic City, a STEM and entrepreneurship-focused university with bright young minds from 25 African countries. This thought of doing something for youth in Africa was planted in me by Gurudev, whom I met 25 years ago and follow Gurudev's daily Twitter feed these days, which serves as my moral daily compass, something that allows me to balance business, success, and impact. Personally, my life has been enriched so much by his wisdom, teachings, and leadership. A super big thank you to the Excellency, the amazing Dare, who emceed and sang, the outstanding speaker, Bishop Matthew Kuka, our beautiful Prof. Pat, the specialist catalyst, Dr. Lanre, for the scintillating conversation with Gurudev. And of course, all you esteemed and distinguished business leaders here today at this wonderful and magnificent roundtable. I would also like to take a quick minute to thank all our incredible sponsors. This is a long list, so kindly bear with me. African Industries. You have the logos on the screen. Sana, AfriGlobal, Tolaram, OMD Media, Aarti, Vista Group, Mizami, Rosette, Stanbic, Union Bank, Henkel, Merald, Party Foods, Platinum Asphalt, Polkit Alloy, Quantum Packaging, Right Foods, Empire Coat, Springfield Agro, Supermarine Services, Axis Bank, B. Awosika and Company, Capital Alliance, Nijacam, Olam, Stallion Group, Blue Ocean, First Bank, Khalid Salam, Al Qaisar Company Limited, Zenith Bank, Bula Nigeria, Globus Bank, Mantra Logistics International Limited, and Pavasco. Gurudev's Africa trip is possible with incredible support from leaders like you in all the countries we'll be visiting. On behalf of Gurudev and his recently established Happiness Center in Lagos, I extend a warm welcome to all of you to visit the Bangalore Ashram of the Art of Living and experience true magic. I also want to thank all the wonderful Art of Living teachers and volunteers, and finally, the beautiful team of LifeSpot who have worked tireless hours to do this event management. Thank you all, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dave. Thank you. Brilliant. All right, for our entertainment pleasure, as Gurudev takes pictures and makes his way out, I'd like to introduce to the microphone and to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, as I bid you good night and God bless. Dinner is served, so please don't leave. Funsho, I see you. Funsho, I think you're hungry because as I said dinner, you look left. Eat, my brother, and you can run on the bridge tomorrow, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, Godwin Strings.